Hi class, so welcome back to the chapter Force and Pressure. So we have already discussed about we have already learned the definition of force and what are the different properties of force and what are the effects of force, and about different forces also, like whether what will happen if they're acting on one direction and if they're acting in two different directions. So we have already covered this much portion, right? So today our topic is types of forces. That means how many types of forces are there. So let's have a look. Forces, there are two types of force. First is contact force and the other is non-contact force. Class, listen, in science you have to understand you have to understand the concept by the term itself. For example, if I say contact force, that means there must be some contact between the force. That is why it is named as contact force. Or if we talk about non-contact, that means there might not be they might not be in contact with each other, and that is why they have termed this as non-contact force. So understand from the term itself, it is a self-explanatory term, I must say. So contact forces are those forces in which agent and the object are in physical contact with each other. So this is important, class. These are those forces in which the agent is the one who is applying the force, and object is the one on which force is being applied on. For example, if I am writing with this marker, right? So this is my object and this is the agent, because I am writing with the help of this marker. So this marker is going to be my agent, and this board is going to be my object on which this force is being applied on, right? So if you see, I've drawn this also, like if your object and this is the agent, they are in direct touch with each other. That means both are touching each other. If they are not touching each other, then this force cannot be applied on, right? Whereas if we talk about non-contact force, in non-contact force, if you see, the agent and the object are not in physical contact with each other. That means the object and the agent are far away from each other. They are not in direct contact. Whereas in contact force, they were in direct contact. They were in physical contact. See, I have drawn, the object is here and your agent is here. Can you see the distance between both of them? Here you cannot see the physical contact between them, and here the physical contact is present, and that is why these forces are known as contact forces, and these forces are known as non-contact forces. So I hope you're clear with the term contact and non-contact. So let us look at some of the examples of contact force. So in contact force, we have muscular force and we have frictional force. We'll study about these forces in detail. So here I'm just going to give you a brief idea. See, as I have just said, that in science, many terms are self-explanatory. So understand from the term itself. When I say muscular force, muscular means it is involving your muscles, right? So this force involves the muscle. So this is your muscular force. Now when we talk about, and the other one we have is frictional force. Now frictional force is a force that opposes motion. That means you might have seen when you throw a ball, right? You're throwing a ball and you'll see the ball will stop moving at some time. Initially the ball will move, and after covering a short distance, the ball is going to stop by its own without any force. So that particular force is your frictional force. So these are the two types of contact force, because muscular force cannot work if your object and agents are not in direct contact. For example, understand it like this. If I want to touch this duster, right? So how am I going to touch this duster? I have to touch this duster like this, then only I'll be able to see some action, right? So without touching, will the duster will move up? It will not, right? So contact between my hand and the duster should be there. So that is why muscular and frictional forces are your contact forces, because in this force, contact between the agent and the object should be, it is must. It is mandatory for both the things to be in physical contact with each other. Otherwise, these forces are of no use. These forces cannot be applied. Now, if we see non-contact forces, non-contact, as we have already discussed, that these forces are not in contact with each other, so they are slightly away from each other. For example, first of all, we have electrostatic force, magnetic force, and gravitational force. If we talk about electrostatic force, electrostatic, it is something that is related to charges and electricity. So the force that is acting, that is related to charges, is known as your electrostatic force. And then we have magnetic force. Now, magnetic force means it is something related to magnet. And then we have gravitational force, which is it is the force of attraction, or it is something related to gravity. So these three forces, they do not require direct contact with the object, and that is why these three forces are termed as non-contact forces. So this was about contact and non-contact forces. Now we'll study each of the force in detail. Now class, let's quickly discuss the contact forces in detail. So as we have already, I've already told you about the contact forces, we have muscular force and frictional force as contact forces. So what is muscular force? Muscular means something that involves muscles. So it is the force which is exerted by muscles of your body. Suppose if I want to pick something, for example, I have to pick this ball. So I'll have to take this ball like this, and I have to hold it like this. So muscles of my hand are working to hold this ball. So the force that requires movement of your muscle, or that involves, or the force that is exerted by muscles of your body. If suppose you are lifting a bag, or you might have seen weightlifters, they lift heavy weight. So these are some of the activities where muscles of your body are involved. So that is why from muscles this word has come, muscular. For example, a boy pushing a cart on the road. If you have seen a boy, he is pushing the cart in the road. Either he is pushing it or he is pulling it, right? So both the movement requires the work of your muscles. So that is why these are the muscular forces. Next example, we have muscular forces involved in performing our day-to-day activities like walking, running, jumping, climbing, and lifting. So these are some day-to-day activities in which the muscles of your body are involved, and the force is exerted by the muscles. For example, if I'm writing something on this board, muscles of my hand is working. So these muscles are exerting some kind of force on the board. So that means it is the muscular force. So any activity which is involving your muscle, in which your muscles are working, so that activity will be, or that force will be your muscular force. So this is one of the simplest force. So I hope it is very easy. So I hope you all have understood the muscular force. Now let's move on to the frictional force. See, frictional, whenever just understand, friction means roughness, right? So when I say frictional force, that means it is the force that stops the motion of something. For example, if I am throwing this ball, right, this ball will move slowly, and finally at some point this ball is going to stop on its own without any external force. So the force that is stopping this ball from moving ahead, that force is your frictional force, and it is directly proportional to the roughness. That means if I'm throwing two balls, one ball is moving on a smooth surface and one ball is moving on a rough surface. So a smoother surface have less friction, so ball is going to cover a long distance. Whereas if I see a rough surface and if I throw this ball in the rough surface, this ball will slow down after covering a very short distance. Why? Because of friction. So frictional force is something that actually stops motion. So it is a force that opposes the motion of the moving body over the another body. So in this body, one body is moving over the another body, and due to the movement of one body over the other, the object, it stops on its own. For example, if I'm throwing a ball like this, the ground is providing some kind of friction to the ball, and that is why the ball is stopping, right? And this is the reason the ball stops on its own, because the ground is providing that frictional force to the ball. So in this force, one body moves over the another body, and the body which is below, it provides some kind of friction to the above body, and due to which the above body ceases its motion. For example, a ball moving on its own on the ground slows down and stops due to frictional force. This I've already we have already discussed, that whenever you're throwing a ball, the ball will gradually move. Whenever you're throwing the ball, initially the ball is going to move at high speed because you have applied some kind of force to the ball, but gradually, if you see, the movement of the ball will slow down and finally it will stop. Why? Because ground is stopping the ball, it is providing friction to the ball, so that surface is stopping the motion. So this is your frictional force. In easy terms, you can just say that this is a force that stops motion, it opposes motion. If movement of something is in this way, so frictional will be in opposite way because it is opposing motion. If you stop paddling a bicycle, it slows down gradually and finally stops. So this is also the similar example. Just like a ball stops on its own, similarly when you stop paddling, like initially you paddle your bicycle, right? But at some time, if you stop paddling your bicycle, it will gradually slow down its speed, and finally the bicycle is going to stop on its own. Why? Because the road or the ground on which the bicycle is moving, that ground is stopping the motion of the bicycle because of the frictional force. So I hope you're clear with the two contact forces, muscular and frictional. Now we'll move on to the non-contact forces. We have electrostatic, magnetic and gravitational. So let's look at these forces, let's discuss these forces in detail now. So class, now let's discuss about the non-contact forces. So in non-contact forces, you have three types of forces. First of all, we have magnetic force, and then we have electrostatic force, and then we have gravitational force. So we'll study about these forces one by one. So let's move on to magnetic force first. So as you see, magnetic force means magnet is involved in this force, right? So these are the force that are exerted by magnets. For example, the magnet exerts a magnetic force on the object made of iron, steel, nickel and cobalt. Now you must have seen, whenever you bring a piece of magnet near to the iron nails, even from like even if you're not touching that magnet, like if you're not touching that magnet to the iron nail, the nail, they quickly, they are quickly attracted towards the magnet even when magnet is at the distant. Why? Because magnetic force is a non-contact force. If the magnet is here, supposedly, just imagine if this is your magnet and this is the iron nail, this magnet has magnetic field around it, right? And if this nail is within that magnetic field, this nail will be attracted by this magnet. So if you see, this magnet is attracting this iron nail from a distance, like they are not in physical contact with each other. So this magnet is even working from a distance. So that is why magnetic force is a non-contact force, and this is the reason why you are able to put iron stickers on your refrigerator or on your steel almirah. You must have seen this, right? The small kids, they have this habit of putting magnetic toys in their refrigerator. Like they just stick those toys and those stickers on the refrigerator or on the steel almirah. Why? Because those toys and those stickers have magnet in them, and they easily stick to something which is made of iron, right? So basically in this, you just have to remember that these are the non-contact forces and the forces that are exerted by magnets. So in this, just like in muscular force, muscles were involved, muscles were playing the main role. Similarly, in magnetic force, magnet is playing the dominant role. So magnetic, as it is acting even from a distance, so that is why the magnetic field is, or the magnet is also known as, like these kind of forces are also known as non-contact forces. Now if you see the example, many toys work due to magnetic force. Certain stickers or stick to the iron object like steel, almirah and refrigerator. So whenever you feel like sticking some stickers, but one thing you need to notice here is these objects should be made of either iron, steel, nickel and cobalt. Don't try to use magnet for attracting wood and plastic, right? They'll not be attracted by magnet, because magnet is something that attracts only magnetic material. So iron, cobalt, steel, all these are your magnetic material, right? So this was all about the magnet. Now we'll move on to electrostatic force. Now if you see the word electro, just like here in magnetic force, magnet was involved, and that is why these forces were magnetic force. Similarly, if we talk about electrostatic, here the word electro is involved, and when we hear the word electro, it means we are talking about charges. Now these are the force exerted by electrically charged body. Now understand it in this way. See, if I am rubbing two things together, right? So at this stage, both of the bodies are uncharged. But if I'll start rubbing both the bodies, one of them will become charged. Like both the bodies will acquire some kind of charge. For example, I'll show you this. You must have done this experiment in which you take a scale and you rub the scale on your hair like this, right? And you try to bring the scale near to the pieces of paper, and if you observe, those pieces will stick to the scale. Now why those bits of paper, why Why they are attracted by the scale? Because when I rubbed the scale on my hair, or you can say when I rubbed the scale with the hair, the scale got charged, the scale got some kind of charge, right? And as the scale got charged, so if I move the scale on the bits of paper, the paper will start attracting. The paper will stick to the scale. Why? Because papers are not charged, but the scale is charged. So scale is somehow charging those paper. As scale is charged, understand it in this way, class. Like for example, if I am a charged body, and if this is uncharged, and if this uncharged body come near to me, right, or you can say if it will come near to me, it will also get charged. So a charged body has potential to change an uncharged body into charged one, right? So this is how charges work. So when you are rubbing the scale with your hair, the scale initially it was not charged, but after rubbing it with your hair, the scale got charged, and due to that charge, it started attracting the bits of paper, right? So the forces that involve charges are known as electrostatic forces. Now in this, one thing you have to keep in mind, that positive charges, they repel each other. If I am also charged and the other one is also charged, then we both will repel each other. हम लोग एक दूसरे से repel करेंगे. That means we'll move away. But if I have positive charge and the other one has negative charge, we both will attract each other. So if I have one charged body and another, like if I have one positive charged body and another is negatively charged body, then both these charges will attract each other. See, if I have a positive charged body and I have another positive charged body, so these bodies will move away from each other. These charged bodies will repel. Now, if I have one positive charged body and the other is negatively charged, that means one is positively charged and other is negatively charged. So both the bodies are going to attract each other. That means we'll study about charges in detail in another chapter. You have one more chapter that is entirely related to charges. So there we will study in detail about the charges. Here I'm just giving you a brief idea what are charges, right? So positive, like charges repel, like charges repel, and unlike charges, unlike means different charges, unlike charges, they attract each other. Similarly, this happens with magnet also. The like poles of the magnet, for example, here you have two magnets. This is the north pole of the magnet and this is the south pole of the magnet, and this is the north pole of the magnet and this is the south pole of the magnet. So if you bring two magnets together, this north and south, these are the unlike poles, so they will attract. And again, if you have these two magnets, and this is your north pole, and again this is your north pole, and this is your south pole, and this is your south pole, so these two are going to repel. Why repel? Because these are unlike, because these are like charges. So like charges means these are similar charges, right? So you just have to remember that like charges, they repel each other, you know. Just understand it like this: if you have some kind of quality, right, and the other person is also having some kind of quality, so will there be some kind of attraction between you both? Obviously no, because you both have similar features and similar qualities, so there is nothing new in it. So you both will move away from each other. And now just imagine if I have some quality and the other one has a different quality other than me, right? Like other than mine. So we both will attract each other. So it works in charges. So it works in similar way when we talk about charges and magnet. So this is how charges they work. So whenever you are rubbing one body with the another body, one of the body will get charged, one of the body will get positive charge and the other body will get negative charge, and this is due to the transfer of electrons from one body to another. Now what is transfer of electrons, what are protons, neutrons, this we are going to study in detail in another chapter. So basically here you just need to keep in mind that when I am rubbing two clothes together, then both of them are getting charged. One is getting negatively charged and one is getting positively charged. So this was the electrostatic force in which charges are involved, in which your negative and positive charges are involved. Now where is this force used? It has a very important application, class. It is used in reducing air pollution by removing dust, soot and fly ash particles from the smoke coming out of the factories. Now if you see factory, they use a lot of fuel and lot of smoke is getting produced, right? And in that smoke you have dust particles, you have soot particles, and there are many more pollutants that are present in that smoke. So electronic precipitators are used in those factories. So what these precipitators do, they catch the charged particles. So basically electrodes of different charges are used in that electronic precipitators to attract different charges. So if you see dust particles, smoke or any other pollutant, they have different charges. So electronic precipitator will catch those charges, right, and will release the smoke. So this is how they are reducing the air pollution, because these electronic precipitators are taking out the pollutants from the smoke and releasing the clean smoke. This is how electrostatic force is used in this. Now let's move on to the gravitational force. Now when we talk about gravitational force is the force between two objects that have some kind of mass. For example, if I am standing here and if I have this marker here, right, so there is some kind of attractive force between us, right? So that is known as gravitational force. So it is nothing but the force of attraction between two bodies. It could be either two planets, or it could be between sun and moon, right? So it could be between any two bodies that have mass. For example, it could be between me and board. This is also gravitational force. So it is the force of attraction. Because of this force of attraction, we are able to move about, we are able to do many things. So though these forces are not visible and these forces cannot be even felt, but there are forces of attraction. So the gravitational force is the force of attraction that we have. So the pull exerted by the objects possessing mass is known as gravitational force. So basically the force between any two bodies that have some kind of mass, that force is your gravitational force. For example, the force between sun and earth is a gravitational force, or you can say sun and some other different planet. Now what is gravity? See, suppose if just imagine like if I'm talking about force between Sun and Jupiter, so you will call it as gravitational force because it is a force of attraction between two heavenly bodies, right? Now if I talk about Earth and me, like I'm standing on Earth, so Earth is also attracting me with some kind of force. So the force exerted by Earth on me or on any other animal or on you or on anything or on any